And here we, oh wait, wrong show. That's Ryan Armani and Braylon Edwards with their lead into their show. Yo, Woodward Bets here on a Wednesday. I'm losing track of days, Scott. I got Vegas on the mind, heading out to Vegas here for March Madness. So the countdown is on, but we wanted to get in here, make sure we got you guys covered here for the brackets. We'll talk some brackets here later on in the show. Going to talk some NBA as well. Break down some of the news, and we'll be joined once again by the great Kelly Singh, a.k.a. Kelly in Phoenix, breaking down some golf for the week. But my man Scott here, how we doing, buddy? The weather, I mean, we can't beat it. It was almost 70 out here today, so hopefully good signs that spring is well on its way.
Oh man, I think it just brightens everybody's mood, beer man, when the weather starts to turn. It starts to get nice outside. I mean, I went outside for the first time a little earlier this morning and thought, oh, wow, this is going to be a pretty nice day. I know earlier this morning when I took the kid to school, it was still a bit brisk outside, but yeah, warmed up real nice. I mean, hey, if you still got Christmas lights up, man, you got no damn excuse not to have them down here in these next couple of days. So, I'm calling you out. I got a couple neighbors, a few houses down. I like to tease every time I walk by, ask them if it's still Christmas time, but just like to have a little fun.
Now, I know some people that leave theirs up the whole year, and part of me says, man, that's not a bad, not a bad gig there. You don't have to deal with taking them down, putting them up. That being said, I don't know that I want to see Christmas lights surrounding my house all year long. So quick thoughts on that. I mean, that's kind of the lazy way to do it, I guess, but it makes sense in another, you look at it from another angle. So any thoughts on the Christmas lights?
My luck, beer man, some squirrel get hung up and be hanging from the light or something on my house. It'd be something silly like that. So I already had a stinking hawk crash into my front window, as you remember. But yeah, I mean, the people who got their Christmas lights up, the ones that crack me up, beer, are the ones who actually turn them on. It's March.
Right. That's a different story.
Yeah, those are the people that make me laugh. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be nice outside. Can't wait. I mean, Tubby here has got some weight put on here. I need to get on my bike here and start riding my bike around Hines Park like I normally do in the summer because, man, sitting around here in the winter here didn't do me any favors, buddy.
Yeah, well, we can blame the winter. We can blame COVID. We got all kinds of things to blame. But let's talk some Pistons here. Once again, getting it done. Not getting the W. And we said, the money line is a little bit of a stretch. It's a tough matchup. For sure against Miami. So, that one, if you wanted to dabble, okay, 6.5 to 1, no problem with that. They come up a little bit short, 105-98, but man, cover again here, Scott. Cover the first half once again, and most impressively, do it without Cade Cunningham last night. So we saw old Michigan standout Isaiah Livers come in and produce 16 and 6 in that game. So Pistons remain red hot. I got my blue on, not quite a Piston shirt, but I tried to get as close as I could. As you know, they're not my team, but man, have they been good to us. So hopefully you guys have been riding this hot streak. I know you've been all over the Pistons here. First half, money lines, spreads, but they do it once again last night in Miami.
Yeah, Beer, I'll tell you what, I saw a tweet last night. Hey, you're a true Piston fan if you're watching. I'm thinking, bullshit. Those sports bettors are watching because they're hottest stinking team in all of sports against the spread. That's for damn sure. But yeah, hey, it's a lot of fun. It just goes to show you they're not a very good team, but Beer, they're a good enough team. They try. They're putting out an effort. It just seems like that fourth quarter there, second half of these fourth quarters seem to be getting them closing out the games. I don't know if you want to attribute that to the other team just maybe pushing the gas a little harder or what, but yeah, I mean, they're hanging in all these games. First half, been covering every game here. I'm going to keep riding it, Beer. I'm having fun with it, but love it. I you know what? I was a little concerned when I heard Cade wasn't out, but, I wasn't going to back down. Still getting 13.5 points. I thought that was way too many. And I like where the Pistons are sitting. I like how they're playing. And you can just see they're having fun together. They're playing hard. And that's all you can ask for at this point.
Yeah, led by Jeremy Grant last night, 22 points. Again, Livers solid off the bench. Another good game from Marvin Bagley as well. So another solid performance. Again, come up short in the W. It's almost a win-win. We hit the bets. They lose the game, so they continue to trend towards a potential number one pick in the lottery. So as a sports betting fan of the Pistons, I think that's probably the best possible outcome for us. So continue to get it done. Let's touch on a little NFL free agency. Not a ton of major news today, but just wanted to see if anything moves the needle here for you. Shaq Barrett back with Tampa Bay. Cameron Brate also returning. So, Tom Brady back. They're putting the band back together. We saw them sign Russell Gage, wide receiver formerly of the Falcons, the other day. Some other minor news here. Rashard Higgins, formerly of Cleveland, signs with Carolina, excuse me. Safety Josh Harris signing with the Chargers. Rock Ya-Sin traded from Indianapolis to the Las Vegas Raiders. Sounds like Von Miller back to the Rams. I know there's some word that he may go to Denver, but sounds like he's going back to the Rams. The Jets signed Joe Flacco to come back as their backup. And Chandler Jones headed to Vegas as well. And the Colts acquiring Ngakoue from the Raiders in that trade for Rock Ya-Sin. So, again, not a lot of, we don't have the major names, the Aaron Rodgers, things like that, Scott, but the NFL wheels continue to turn here. Any thoughts on any of the deals or anything I missed here in the NFL?
Yeah, not too many big deals there, Beer Man. But the one, the one domino everybody's waiting to fall is that Deshaun Watson domino. And I did chuckle at the way Baker Mayfield kind of handled himself yesterday, basically whining like a little baby. But I got a chuckle out of that. I mean, hey, Tua has been hearing about Deshaun Watson taking his job a whole year. We never seen him act like that. But yeah, I just kind of get a chuckle at how some of these players handle news and different things. But hey, we'll see where Deshaun Watson lands. I think that will basically start the fall of domino where all these teams need a quarterback. But I'll be interested to see where he ends up landing.
Yeah, it sounds like Atlanta now in the mix as well. They said they've spoken to Matt Ryan. Cleveland we saw as one of the teams. Carolina. So, all the teams that we kind of figured, Baker Mayfield, had there when he came in. It was good for that first half of that first season. Ever since then, average at best, I would say. High expectations for that Cleveland team that they have never lived up to. So imagine a Deshaun Watson there. Amari Cooper's value certainly would be on the rise. I know a lot of people down on him right now. Nick Chubb, I mean, that would be a good fit. Atlanta, think of the possibilities. So with Kyle Pitts there, teamed up with Deshaun Watson. So we'll keep an eye on the pulse of this Watson situation. I would expect something to happen here quick in Houston. Going to get a haul here for Deshaun Watson. That is for sure. All right, let's get to one of our favorite guests that we've ever had. So we wanted to run it back and bring her back on here once again to talk some golf. We got the Valspar Open this weekend. Welcome back to our good friend, Kelly Singh. Kelly in Phoenix. How are we doing this afternoon, Kelly? It might be morning there in Phoenix. Barely over the afternoon here, but how are we doing?
Great, I'm doing great. It's about 12:30 here, so I'll be getting some lunch soon.
Outstanding. So let's get into some Valspar Open. Tees off tomorrow. Give us the layout, the overview of the course, what kind of golfers we're looking at, and we can get into some picks and some bets.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, I just want to kind of recap last week, the Players Championship. High drama to the very end. There were 13 of 15 top players in the world playing. And after Thursday's windy debacle, where the majority of those top players happened to play, only one survived and came within four of the lead. And that was Justin, JT, my little pick, but he couldn't hang on. The rest just blew away, literally gone with the wind. So we're going to put that behind us and look forward to the Valspar. So the weather is going to be sunny again in Florida, no rain in the forecast, 70s, perfect conditions for golf. I'm going with Hovland. He's young, he can recover from the week. He's ready to win. And I'm also choosing Answer as my next win, kind of hedge my bets. Hovland or Answer. Some prop bets. I've also got 3 chances to win prop bet with Hovland and Lowry and Fitzpatrick. That one happens to be 5-1. So it's a nice, pretty easy little bet, I think. A lot of people are big on Fitzpatrick to win too. So I would play that. And then next one I'm playing is Lowry, Hatton, Fitzpatrick, and Fleetwood. in the top 20, which is not super hard to do, but the odds are actually really great on this, 28 to 1. So go in, put a nice cheap bet in, and win big. If you want
Love
to
it.
build some lineups, do you want me to keep going in lineups?
Yeah, we'll get to that here in a second. I want to look at some of the odds on some of the golfers you mentioned. Your boy Justin Thomas looks like he is the favorite here, but Victor Hovland plus 1,100, so a nice 11 to 1 on him. Abraham Answer plus 3,400, so a little bit of a longer shot there at 34 to 1. So I always love, some people love, taking something closer to a favorite. 11 to 1 is still pretty good odds for one of the odds on favorite, but we know, and I like to as well, find some of those guys a little bit deeper where the odds are a little bit better. So 34 to 1, that's one that's getting me excited. So Scott, any thoughts here on some bets here? Thoughts on, we'll get to some DFS plays in a minute here, Kelly. I just want to see if Scott had any thoughts on a winner, any bets that he's looking at.
Yeah, Beer Man, I got to tell you. So I got a hold of my mom and talked to her husband, and he watches golf. He's the guy that sits in his chair, never leaves the TV, and watches golf all the time. And I asked him about this one, and he said that pretty tough course here, one of the hardest courses on the PGA. So he was telling me here to look at the basically the strokes gained here for the last few weeks. The last 4 out of 5 winners at Valspar have ranked 7th or better in the field of strokes gained. So just running down those 7s, Victor Hovland, a guy there that Kelly mentioned, Russell Knox, Shane Lowry, Cameron Percy, Justin Thomas, another guy you mentioned was a favorite, Patton Kizzar, and then Luke Donald would round out the top 7. So the last 4 out of 5 winners have come from that trend. So strokes to gain there. So I think top 7, I think that's something to pay attention to, just knowing that this course here is a shot maker's course.
All right, Kelly, we got our bets in. We got some other bets, some parlays. So we're all set there. Now let's get to some DFS plays for the week. Who are we looking at on DraftKings and FanDuel this week?
It was really hard to build lineups this week. They really overpriced a lot of players, or priced us out of the market, I should say. But I do want to mention Scott and I are on the same page as far as my prop bets go. Those names are all in there for the top 20. And then as far as Answer goes to win, he finished 16th and 5th at the Valspar the last 2 times. So that's kind of why I'm high on Answer. So I think that's a great dark horse bet, but not a dark horse. So when we're talking our DFS lineups, like I said, I had a really hard time on both FanDuel and DraftKings putting together a lineup. So there might be some out of nowhere picks, but they're not totally. So for FanDuel, I have Hovland, Knox. Well, Hovland at 11.9, Knox at 9.8, Answer at 10.9, Hadwin 9.4, Stallings, who maybe not so many people are familiar with, but he has great course history there, was my value pick at 8.2, and Noren at 9.8, who's trending upward. So it was a lot of piecing together for FanDuel. For DraftKings, I have pretty much the same lineup, except I dropped Knox for O'Hare, who was kind of a wild hair. But again, course history, just the way he plays. And I dropped Noren for Woodland, and the two of them are kind of battling it out if you talk to other golf experts on who might be the better pick, Noren or Woodland. So at least I have one of each.
Yeah, there you go. Some more long shots for you there in the golf world. Scott, any other questions here for Kelly on the course, the plays, the bets, anything we want to add here to get everyone set up here for the Valspar Open?
No, I mean, I think we nailed it. I think, we're all, it sounds like we're all on the same page. I mean,
Absolutely.
I do like to pay up for a few guys and then have, a couple value guys in there. That's where I like to mix it up in my lineups. I like to have 3-4 guys that I like to play. And I might play 10 lineups and, keep those 3 or 4 top guys and then mix in my bottom guys. But I mean, Kelly mentioned that Players Championship last week, man. What a mess that was. I mean, that we haven't seen a tournament like that in quite some time. I mean, that wind was 43 miles an hour, and watching them on that island green number 17 there, I mean, that was kind of funny. just kind of watching. I think they said almost half the golfers hit it in the water. Made us amateurs feel pretty good about ourselves, that's for sure. Because normally, if that's the case, I always just walk up, throw one in, and then walk over to the drop zone and just short chip one up there, beer man, because it's just, or you got to. That's when you grab those top flights out of your bag. When you're about to hit one of those shots. But Pro V stays in the bag on those ones. But either way, that players was crazy. A lot of fun to watch. Cameron Smith was a guy I did like. But I had fun watching that one here. But this Valspar Open, matter of fact, it's about 10 miles from my family, where my family lives down there. I've actually played this course quite some time ago. But looking forward to watching this one here. Kind of just, when you play a course like this that's on TV, you get a different perspective for it. It's just like, wow, it's pretty cool. But kind of looking forward to some golf. We got some, NCAA basketball. Man, I'm glad I got multiple TVs this week.
Yeah, no
For
doubt.
sure.
And you talk about hitting
it.
Go ahead, Kelly.
I'm talking all over top of you. I just get so excited.
All
what
good.
Can I say?
Hey, we love the excitement. Have at it.
I was just going to say, even though last week was so terrible, I did not strike out. I won 47 cents on my DFS lineup. So, hey, something. Put it right back in.
Hey,
Beer, that reminds me of the ultimate. That reminds me of the ultimate DFS joke when people will show their winnings and they'll show that they got, like $500 in entries and they won $400. And then people are bragging that they won the slate. And then they're like, no, you didn't. You had 500 in. And it's just like the longest ongoing DFS joke. It just cracks me up that people fall for that every time. So when you said 47 cents in winnings, it made me think of that. But I do enjoy that on Twitter.
It was a 47-cent profit.
And that's it. Every win's a win. You have a lot of days or it's 0 in winnings with all of the entries. So, and Scott, when you were talking about hitting balls in the water and the wind and you're pulling out top flights, that's when I'm hitting the cart and I'm pulling out a cold beer and I'm done with this damn round. So gets like that. I call it a day. Head to the 19th hole and try again the next day. But Kelly, any final thoughts here for the listeners? Golf, non-golf, whatever you want to talk about here before we get you out of here.
You know what? In the spirit of Beastie, we need to say it's a nice day outside. And I hear it's a nice day outside where you are too. So everybody should get outside and enjoy the sunshine.
Absolutely. He couldn't have said it any better. So we appreciate those thoughts. We appreciate the golf insights. Good luck to you this week. We'll be keeping tabs on you on Twitter, see how the golf is going. But thank you so much for taking the time. We look forward to talking to you again here soon.
Bye.
See ya. All right. The great Kelly Singh here once again. So we know you guys love you some Kelly. In Phoenix, guess what? So we are here to appease you guys. So always does a great job. Great insights there. And just a fun, positive personality, Scott. That's the thing I like the most is so much negativity in the world. I know BC talks about this all the time. Not going to go on a diatribe here, but it's nice to see some positivity, some happiness, and Kelly certainly brings that to the table in spades.
Absolutely. Those are the kind of people I like to be around, Beer. I mean, it's kind of people we got all around at Woodward Sports. You go there, I mean, you cannot leave there in a bad mood. I mean, if you go in there in a bad mood, you're having a bad day. I mean, you walk out of there smiling. There's just so many friendly faces, and those are the kind of people that we like to have around here at Woodward Sports. But real happy and glad to have Kelly here. And we missed Beastie. Beastie had a little change there in the schedule, so he'll be on with us a little bit more on the weekends, but early in the week here. Looks like, hey, we may add Spencer a little bit. I mean, we like having Spencer on too, Beer Man.
Absolutely.
So I think Spencer is a guy that we're going to have on. I mean, hey, he calls Kyle Anthony Towns and he goes off like that. I mean, that's just a sign there that we need to have the fella on a little bit more. So we're definitely going to do that here as we move on. But excited to see what we can mix up here with all the crew here. It's just more fun, Beer. As we said, we wanted to add more people to our team, and glad that we're able to do that. And we're going to continue to add to Beer because we're hopefully here going to start a website here. We're going to need some writers. We're going to talk about all different kinds of sports, and then we're going to have it honed in when it becomes football time, so we can give the best advice out there that we can possibly give for your your fantasy drafts, your dynasty leagues, your DFS, and all that fun stuff as the NFL season rolls in.
Absolutely. Plenty of opportunity going to become available. And like I said, we've given people a lot of opportunity. They've crushed it. So we want to continue to do that. So something you want to be involved in, you're out there, please reach out and let us know. All right, Scott, let's move to the NBA before we break down the rest of the NCAA bracket. 2 regions yesterday. If you missed that, we'll do the other 2 today, and then we'll give you some Final Four picks, some bets, some things that we like. But a big slate in the NBA. I'll fly through the injuries here. Real quick, a lot of the names that you continue to hear day in, day out. Paul George still out for the Clippers. Anthony Davis remains out for the Lakers. Chris Paul still on the shelf for Phoenix. Damian Lillard still out for Portland. No Kyrie Irving tonight. We know he can't play in those games. Bradley Beal still out for Washington. Josh Giddey remains out for OKC along with Lou Dort. Nurkic still out for Portland along with Anthony Simons, so they will be thin. A lot of questionable tags here. LeBron James, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Joel Embiid dealing with some back soreness. Fred VanVleet still dealing with a knee injury. OG Anunoby likely still out once again. Also out Jared Allen, Gordon Hayward, and John Collins. So don't want to go super deep here on injuries. Let's turn the page to some fantasy plays here, Scott. And, Portland, certainly a team that we want to look to, whether it's Josh Hart, whether it's the point guard, has been playing extremely well, Brandon Williams. But thoughts here in DFS, we got some expensive guys on this slate, Scott. So I know you love to start with a stud. So Giannis, Jokic, Durant without Kyrie Irving, Embiid, Luka, so many expensive guys on this slate. Who's topping the list for you here today?
Yeah, definitely going to want to pay down for a few guys. There's so many guys to spend up for. I think Alec Burks is a guy that you might want to look at as far as value goes. And then a couple other guys here I'd be looking at too, maybe Brandon Williams. He's a guy. Rudy Gay is he's going to be really high owned. He's only 3,500 on FanDuel. I think he'll be a guy that will be. Gary Trent's another one. Deontay DiVincenzo, Gordon Dragic, maybe Will Barton. But I think those are the guys you're going to want to look at for some salary relief. But as you mentioned, without Kyrie, I think Kevin Durant's a guy you may want to pay up for. DeJounte Murray is another one. Luka, maybe pay up for Giannis. I think this is a pretty good slate here, Beer. There's so many different ways, a lot of good plays on the slate. So I like that here, where you're not going to see too many of the masses get funneled in a certain way. I think there's all sorts of different ways to build your lineups tonight. We'll have to see if any more value opens up. But, yeah, I mean, I like DeJounte Murray, and I definitely like Kevin Durant without Kyrie. I think that usage is going to have to go over to Durant. He's going to want to put most of all that on his shoulders. And we saw what Kyrie did last night. He had an incredible game last night. 58-some points, Beer, man. I think at halftime I thought I heard. And he was going after the all-time record, James Harden, but didn't end up getting there. But, yeah, without Kyrie, I like me some Mr. Durant tonight.
Yeah, Durant's actually my favorite on the high end. I mean, you can never go wrong with a lot of these guys. I mean, Giannis in a great spot. Sacramento does not play any defense. So this could be one of those 80-point fantasy nights from Giannis Antetokounmpo, no doubt. Luka's been fantastic, so he's in that showdown with Durant. I always like if you compare. Now, it's expensive, but if you can pair a Durant with a Luka, utilize some of the value that we're going to talk about. I never hate that correlation. That game stays close. It raises the ceiling of both of those two guys. So Portland is one of those teams that I want to look to for some value. I mentioned Brandon Williams, especially on FanDuel. DraftKings, he's up to 6,500. FanDuel, he's still down at 5,200. So definitely some value opportunities there with him. Another guy I really like tonight, Scott, RJ Barrett of the Knicks, is really starting to blossom right before our eyes, starting to take that next step, become the primary scorer here for the New York Knicks. So he's one of my favorite plays on the night. Some other guys in the mid-range I really like tonight. Clint Capella with Atlanta with Collins on the shelf. It's more opportunity down low, more rebounds, things like that. Trey Mann for Oklahoma City, especially if SGA is out. That's just going to spread a ton. You're going to need 2, 3, 4 potentially Oklahoma City guys. But even if he plays, still like Trey Mann, been getting it done at the point guard position for them. And then Devin Vassell. I know you mentioned DeJounte Murray. I like him a lot as well. But this Devin Vassell kid for the Spurs, another guy that's really blossoming here with a lot of opportunity. So a lot of great mid-range plays where you can still get in 2 studs, get 1 or 2 of those cheaper value plays that we talked about. There's even guys further down. Rudy Gay you mentioned, but Olivia Sarr for Oklahoma City's minimum price on FanDuel. Dwight Powell's only 3,700. So you cram a couple of those guys in, the Durant-Luka pairing, and hammer home in the mid-range. I think that's the path here tonight in DFS. So, Scott, any other thoughts here? Anyone we missed for NBA DFS lineups tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got it. RJ Barrett is a guy too. I mean, just kind of looking around, reading around the industry. I mean, RJ Barrett's getting a lot of love, and he isn't as priced up as high as some of these other guys. So, you know, if you gotta go down from like a Giannis maybe at 11-2 in the mid 11s, you want to get down into the 10s or the 9s. I think you can do that and help you maybe get like a 6K guy, maybe get you an 8K or a 9K guy. But I think there's so many different paths tonight to go, which these are the fun slates, right? I mean, any kind of DFS slate that we play that doesn't have, you know, like that glaring injuries or, you know, where everybody's going to be on certain guys. I kind of like it when it gets spread out, and that seems to be the case tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So it should be a fun night of DFS in the NBA. I love these bigger slates. You know, just spreads out the ownership more. Everybody's not on all the same plays, so should be fun tonight in the NBA. Before we talk some NCAA and break down the rest of the bracket, a word from our friends over at Better Rate Mortgage.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
There you go. Great. If you need any mortgage advice, information, a new mortgage, check them out. Again, mybetterrate.com. Scott, our other great sponsor of the show, also has some great offerings for us. Let the people know about Jars Cannabis.
Oh, beer. I'll be sitting around enjoying me some Jars Cannabis here during this March Madness, but shopjarscannabis.com, they offer in-store picking, delivery, and pickup as well. They have the largest variety of any of the lifestyle needs here, but several locations located throughout Lansing, Flint, Grand Rapids, and more. And hey, Beer Man, if you mention the Woodward Sports Network and the Woodward Bet Show, you get 20% off your order. So basically, you spend $100, you get $20 in free material. You could either get a couple pre-rolls, maybe you can get you some edibles, whatever else. But really nice people over there, great bud tenders, a lot of stuff there. I really appreciate going over there. So I'm probably going to be making me a trip actually over there tomorrow, Beer Man. While everybody's out boozing it up on St. Patrick's Day, I think I'm going to go over there and get me a different taste of some green. But that'll be my plan, and sit around and watch all these games all day.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun tournament for sure. So let's dive back in again. We covered our first two rounds yesterday, our first two brackets, I should say, the West and the East. So if you want that analysis, go and check that out from yesterday's show. Today, we'll get into the South and the Midwest brackets, working our way through the games, and then we'll finalize things, get you some upsets, get you Final Four picks, maybe some long shot bets. I got one I got my eye on as winning the tournament at 35-1 odds. So keep an eye out for that at the end here. Let's start in the South, Scott. Number 1 seed Arizona going to take on the winner of the play-in game here tonight. We have Bryant and we have who the hell is Bryant? I forgot who they're playing here tonight. They are playing. I lost my spot here. Who's Bryant playing tonight? Why did I lose my
Bryant
game here?
is playing Wright State, sir.
There it is, Wright State. There we go. Okay, so Bryant, Wright State, one of the playing games tonight. We saw Indiana move on last night. Tough task here, Scott. You win a playing game. Your consolation, hey, you get to play Arizona, one of the best teams here in the country. So any thoughts on the game tonight? This is a game that should be a lot of fun. Very high total in this game. We're talking about 154.5 on this total. Now, this is a matchup with team. Bryant plays very quickly, top 10 in the country in pace. We talked a lot of Ken Pom yesterday. He's got this one at 159 on the total. So I think an overplay is in play here. And then on the other side, I mean, Wright State has a guy by the name of Peter Kiss, the nation's leading scorer on that side. So It's going to be a fun game here, Scott. So any thoughts on this play-in game? And then obviously we're moving Arizona on. We don't have a spread here. I'd imagine they're 20-point favorites against either of these teams. But any thoughts on the game tonight?
Yeah, I do like the over there. Brian, actually, in the Ken Palm rankings, as we've discussed here over the last 2 days, they are the worst defensive team in all of the teams that made the bracket. So very low defensive rating. You're right. They play at a very quick pace. They do have the top scorer in the nation. But yeah, I like the over here too. I noticed that as well. Little 4-point difference there. That over under actually went up here. It started out at 151. It's up to 155. Ken Palm had it at 159. So I still think we're about halfway through the value, but I think that's going to continue to go up. I think a lot of people are going to hit on that, but I think that's the way I'd go is the over in that one there. And then when they got to match up against Arizona, Arizona is one of the top defensive teams. I think they're going to have too much there, and I think I would just stay away from that game. But if I had to, I'd probably bet on Arizona.
All right, let's move to the 8-9 game in this region. Seton Hall, the 8, TCU, the 9, about as evenly matched as you could ask for here. And the spread certainly indicates that as well. This one now sitting at a pick'em, Scott. So, the story here, Seton Hall, a very good rebounding team. I mean, it's a team that has a lot of front court play very good defensively. TCU, very good defensively as well. So, a battle of two good defenses. You see that reflected in the total in this game. Who prevails here? Do you have a bet you like here? TCU and Seton Hall.
Yeah, this one here, it's a -1. So, I mean, you got a pretty much even game. In these games, Beer, when it's -1, as we mentioned, anything -3, I'm taking the money line in that situation here. But TCU has been playing some pretty good defense here lately. The under is 5-0 in their last 5 games overall. And the Horned Frogs are 5-1-1 against the spread in their last 7 games with a winning percentage above 600. So they've been playing a lot of these close, good teams here close. The Seton Hall 0-5 in their last 5 neutral site games. But as far as the under goes here, Seton Hall has 5-1 in the unders here in their last 6 neutral site games. So, Beer Man, I think just kind of looking at some trends, I think I would look at the under here. But if I had to bet on something here, I think I would just rather go with TCU. TCU 18-11-3 against the spread so far in the season. Seton Hall 14-16. So I'd say give me TCU, but I'd prefer the under if I had to bet on anything in this spot.
Yeah, I'm on the under here as well. This is one of those coin toss games. I'm on Seton Hall, then the next day I'm on TCU. I think I'm going to finally end up on TCU after kind of looking at some of the numbers here, some of the stuff that you talked about. This may be a stay away game though, as far as the spread goes, but with two good defenses, I do like that under as a play here in this one. Let's move to the 5-12 in this region. We got number 5 Houston, number 12 UAB. So we know the story with Houston making that deep run last season, coming back 29-5 record. Kyler Edwards leading the way for this Houston team. Very good offensively. Defensively, pretty good as well, Scott. They've held teams to under 60 points a game. Not a great free throw shooting team, and I think that could be one of their Achilles heel. Now, UAB, a lot of great guards in this offense, so they can definitely – we love guard play in the tournament, so they can create some turnovers here. You got a team that doesn't shoot free throws very well. Is this a potential upset alert here with UAB and Houston?
Houston here. I think I like the 8 points, but I think Houston's gonna win. I do like the points here in this spot. Houston though has covered their last 8 out of 10 games, which is interesting. But I was just kind of looking at who they played. Houston only has 1 win against a highly ranked team, and that came in the ACAC tournament final against Memphis. But I think the Cougars are underseeded here, and they shouldn't be facing a good team here as the Blazers. But I think Houston should be a little bit higher seed, as I mentioned, but we'll see. UAB, as mentioned, is ranked. They're a top 50 team per Ken Palm, as we mentioned that several times here. But I'll take the 8 points, but I think Houston's going to win. They're just better defensive team.
All right, 4-3. I'm with you on Houston as well. I think this game could be close, so I agree. I like the points, but I like Houston to prevail there. I think they're the much better team. Obviously, I think they're going to find a way to get it done. All right, 4-13 here. Illinois, the 4, Chattanooga, the 13. We saw that buzzer beater by Chattanooga to propel them on to the tournament, but tough task here with one of the better teams in the Big Ten. led, of course, by Kofi Cockburn there, the big man, Trent Frazier, Alfonso Plummer. So this is a very deep, very good team. And we know Cockburn, one of the best players in all of America. Now, Chattanooga, they're looking for their first tournament victory since way back in 97. Malachi Smith, their leading scorer, 20 points per game, the player of the year in their conference. But Scott, is he enough? Can they do enough here? Again, I think we all probably move Illinois on, or the most of us. I don't see Chattanooga pulling off the upset, but I do like them with the points here. Again, I think they could stay competitive with Illinois. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Illinois they're just too big in the middle. Kofi Cockburn. I mean, we've talked about him several times throughout the season. I think there's going to be too much for him. I actually like Illinois in this spot, even with the points there, or given the points. But I just think they're going to be too big. I think they have too much for them to handle. So give me Illinois in this one.
All right, let's talk your team, Scott. Number 11, Michigan, taking on number 6, Colorado State. And one of those weird situations where the 11 is actually the favorite here over the 6 seed, and that's what we have here with Michigan and Colorado State. So we know the story with Michigan. It's been a struggle. It's been up and down, led by Hunter Dickinson, obviously. Colorado State, a slow-paced team, but a very good offensive team for sure. They don't turn the ball over a lot. They shoot the free throws very well. These are the kind of things that we're looking for in March. So I'm going to ask you to leave your homerism aside. Now, if you believe they're going to win, you let us know. I'm going to give you the unbiased opinion here momentarily, but does Michigan win this game, or is it one and done here for your Wolverines?
I've been debating about this one. To me, I think it's really going to depend on the mood of Michigan. I think when you see that fire in Hunter Dickinson's eye, they play well. Now, they are going to be without Devontae Jones, who has a concussion issue. So I think that is important to note as well here. But Michigan, I mean, this is the first game on Thursday, Beer, 12:15 here, the first game right out the gate here. You get Michigan. 58% of the money is coming in on Michigan at this point in time here. I think really you're just kind of looking. I think there's a lot of people here that feel that Colorado State was given a higher seed than they should have. So I think Michigan here is getting lucky playing Colorado State. I don't think Colorado State's going to be able to handle them. I think people are going to see that record that Colorado State has, and they're going to probably start looking at betting on them as an underdog. But give me Michigan here. I'm not really thrilled about it. I don't really feel I'm going to bet. If I do, I think I'll just take Michigan on the money line. I'm not fooling with any of the points. I just want them to win, because I think Dickinson and Diallo there in the middle are going to be a little bit too much for the big fella inside for Colorado State.
So I hate to say it. I hate to be Debbie Downer here, especially since we're a local Michigan show here. But I just Colorado State for me in this one. And yes, maybe their seed is inflated, but this has been a very consistent team. I think Michigan, you're going to be riding Hunter Dickinson big time in this one. If Jones is not able to play, like you mentioned, and we heard some whispers that he may not even travel with the team, which is certainly the way it's played out, that's a problem for me. You have somebody stepping in at point guard with not as much experience, not as much explosiveness. That's a concern. So we've seen the spread kind of come down a little bit because of that. Was up at 2.5. Now it looks like it's settling in at 1.5. This is a spot I want Colorado State in the money. Now, it wouldn't surprise me to see Michigan win, no doubt. It's not a lock and load. It's not a best bet here. My lean is Colorado State in the bracket, and I think they get the W here. So I'm pulling for your Wolverines, no doubt, but I think they're going to come up short here in this one against Colorado State. All right, let's move to the 3-14 matchup, Tennessee and Longwood here. Now, Tennessee, we know, has been great. Their guards are leading the way for sure. Vescovi, Chandler, a lot of three-point shooting for this team. Now, we've seen them go through some of the inconsistencies, Scott, that teams that you live and die by that three-pointer. Tennessee is certainly one of the teams that's going to do that. Now, they are very good defensively, and I think that's going to help carry them here in this matchup with Longwood. Now, Longwood, first trip to the tournament, 19 of 20 wins here. Some names you're probably not familiar with here, but they do shoot the three ball very well at a 38.5% point clip. Can they pull an upset here? It's the recipe for an upset. Can you hit the threes? Can you put a team on, on their heels? They can certainly do that, but Tennessee may be too much here, maybe too talented for Longwood.
Yeah, I think Tennessee's defense is going to be the difference here in this game here. You mentioned them being able to Longwood being able to shoot the ball very well, but I just think that Tennessee's defense is going to be a little bit too much here. Tennessee, though, their coach here has struggled here in the NCAA tournament. Rick Barnes coach teams are 1-11-1 in his last 13 NCAA games here. Tennessee has not fared well either as a favorite in the NCAA. They're 0-5 in their last 5 NCAA tournament games as a favorite, 0-5 as a tournament overall against the spread. But the Volunteers are 4-1 in their last 5 neutral site games. But as we mentioned, I think Tennessee's defense is going to be the big difference. And I know a lot of people like to take, all the points here in situations like that, where you got 17, 18 points. Everybody's going after the points, which we highly recommend as well. But Beer, there was one that stood out to me that I circled that I was willing to take a favorite in all those points. I think this is a spot here. I think Tennessee is going to roll them up by 20.
Yeah, I like Tennessee here as well. I'm with you. I generally I'm underdogs with you. I think that's the way to go, especially in the first round. You get a lot of close games, the teams that overlook their opponents. So you catch a lot of good spreads here, but I think Tennessee is just going to be too much here. So we're in agreement on that one. All right, this is one of my most interesting games of the tournament. Number 7, Ohio State. I know you hate Ohio State, so I already know where you're probably going here. There it is. I knew that was coming. Along playing number 10, Loyola Chicago sister Jean back in the tournament here with her Loyola Chicago team, a team that we know has made some incredible runs. Final Four back in 2018, Sweet 16 last year. So no stranger to this tournament, Scott. A team that defends very well. Again, one of the recipes that we're looking for, allowing under 62 points per game here. Ohio State, another Big Ten team that has looked great at times, has looked kind of questionable at times. Is this an upset in the making here with Loyola?
No, I don't think so, Beer. I think Ohio State's going to be a little bit too much for them here. This isn't the same good Loyola team. They just don't force the turnovers as they have in the past. Their defensive efficiency is not all that high, but Ohio State, look at the defensive efficiency, as we've been talking about, they are very poor, but they are a top 15 in offensive efficiency. So give me that. I think Ohio State's is going to be a little bit too much. There's going to be a lot of, basically a lot of people do like to bet on Ohio State here. I do too, but I just think they're disrespected. They played a much tougher schedule. So give me the Buckeyes here plus the points.
I am on the other side of this. I'm on Loyola here. And yeah, maybe it's not, a team that's going to make that deep run again, but a very, very experienced team, a team that can be patient, a team that can wear you down defensively. I think that's going to frustrate this Ohio State team. And I think the experience is going to lead the way here for Loyola. So the spread right around a pick 'em in this game as well. I think Loyola the way to go here, pulling the upset over Ohio State. Lastly, in this region, the number 2 seed Villanova taking on 15 seed Delaware. So Villanova, Scott, best free throw shooting team in this tournament. So we know that can go a long way. They don't turn the ball over here. We know Jay Wright has made runs before with this Villanova team. Delaware led by Jameer Nelson Jr., a name you're probably familiar with, former Orlando Magic star Jameer Nelson. But they have a lot of guys that can contribute here, but do they have enough guys to compete with Villanova? This one seems like an uphill battle, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, Villanova, they've been playing well. I mean, hey, they captured their 5th Big East tournament title in the past 7 years. I mean, they're just tournament-tested team. You mentioned the coach there. I mean, he's had them in many times here, where they're able to win, and they come out of nowhere, Beer. I mean, this seems like they're just one of these teams that when the tournament's on, they're a team that seems to do pretty well. Now Delaware, they did win their conference, the Colonial Athletic Association tournament here. This is the first time they've been in a tournament since 2014. I just think it's just too much to ask here. I do like the points in this spot here, though. I just think it's going to be way too many points. 62% of the money is coming in on Villanova, but Villanova here is 1-5. Against their spread after allowing less than 50 points. The Wildcats are also 14-3 against the spread in their last 17 NCAA tournament games as a favorite. So, yeah, I think I'm going to stay away from this one, Beer Man, to be honest. But I think Villanova moves on easily.
Villanova moves on, but I'm on Delaware in the points. It's opened at 17. We've seen it move 15.5. Looks like the consensus now. So I think there's a reason for that. Is I think Delaware is going to surprise some people. Villanova likely wins the game, 98 out of 100 times. But I think Delaware again can compete, can stay in this game. I'm rolling Delaware with the points. All right, let's get to the Midwest region here. With the number 1 seed, Kansas Jayhawks leading the way against Texas Southern. We saw them get a W last night, Scott. So, again, a 116. It's only happened one time with Maryland, Baltimore County beating Virginia. Kansas has been so good, arguably the best team in the country here. Tons of talent on this team. Texas Southern, we'll see. They start off their season absolutely horrible. I mean, 0-7, go on a run here. They can play some defense, but Scott, this one feels like a blowout in the makings.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, but hey, Texas Southern, I mean, they've been used to being here. They actually have 3 NCAA tournament wins in 5 seasons here. Obviously, all the old play-in games here, but Kansas 14-0 against 16 seeds all time. I don't think there's going to be anything different here. March Madness, here we go. I think the 21 points though does scare me a little bit. But I think I'd rather just take the points here. But I do like the over in this game here. I think there's going to be quite a bit of points scored here. Kansas, I could see putting up an 80 burger themselves. So give me Kansas and give me the over.
Yeah, I don't mind the over here either. Over 5-1 in Texas Southern's last 6 tournament games as an underdog. Over 6-1-1 for Kansas in their last 8 tournament games. So over certainly has some good trends in its favor here. I would rather go that route. If I'm betting, I'm probably taking Texas Southern in the points, and I don't feel great about that. So I'd rather go on the total here. Kansas could score 100 in this one, to be honest. So give me the over there. All right, another good 8-9 matchup here. San Diego State and Creighton here, Scott. This one again, very, very balanced. San Diego State, they're going to need defense for sure. I mean, they are all defense. They're not a great offensive team. Don't have a lot of star power there, so they're really counting on slowing the other team down. Now, Creighton, on the other hand, a great rebounding team. So an interesting dynamic here as defense against defense, a good rebounding team. I think Creighton, a little bit more firepower on the offensive end. That being said, I like the San Diego State squad. I think they get the W here.
Yeah, I agree with you on the San Diego State squad. I mean, Creighton is without. They lost their star guard, Ryan Nembhard, to injury here. They actually got blown out the first game without him. They ended up covering their last 4 out of 5. But you know what? I just think losing your star guard is going to be a little bit too much against this good defensive team in San Diego State. So give me San Diego State, the 8 seed here, and I got them moving on.
All right, number 5, Iowa, another Big Ten team that has been on a tear of late, taking on the number 12 Richmond Spiders, who we had as a best bet the other day, getting it done. But Iowa, Scott, this team's on fire. Like I said, offensively, this team is one of the best in the country. We know Keegan Murray, a stud on the Iowa side. Now, the other side, Richmond, it's more the forwards that get it done for this team. So can Richmond pull the upset here? Again, Iowa had been solid, been on fire. I think Iowa gets it done, but I do like Richmond in the points here. I think they're going to hang a little bit in this game. I think an overplay could be here as well, as both the teams are going to score the basketball. Iowa, another team that can put 85, 90 points on the board. I just need Richmond to do their part. So I think as much as I like Richmond, I think I'm leaning an overplay in this one, Scott. What do you got?
Yeah, I like the over in this one as well. Over 6-1 in the Hawkeyes last 7 neutral site games. The over 7-0 in the last 7 tournament games for the Hawkeyes as well. But Richmond is hung in there as far as playing in games here in bunches. They're 6-0 when they play a 4th game in 7 days. So I think that's pretty important too, especially in tournament time here. They don't seem to get dead legs, but they're also 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 neutral site games as an underdog. But I'm with you on the over here. I think the over is a pretty good play. 50% of the money is coming in against the spread here, but Iowa is 22-13. They're 8-2 of their last 10 against the spread. I just think that 10.5 is a little bit too high for a Spider team that's been actually playing pretty well here recently. But I think Iowa moves on, but I'd be afraid of those 10.5 points.
All right, let's take a look at number 4, Providence, the Big East regular season champ, taking on South Dakota State. 21 straight wins for the South Dakota State team. Providence, we know, led by the big man, Nate Watson, a very slow, methodical offense here for the Providence Friars. South Dakota State, again, they're going to score the basketball. They put points on the board. They score from deep, got some great guard play with this team. So, do we see an upset here, Scott? This is actually one I think South Dakota State has a very good shot of pulling the upset here. And it's, again, we talk about people looking at brackets, looking at these records. Wow, they're 30-4. They have the nation's longest winning streak. I got to move them on. This may be a trendy upset pick, but I'm actually on board with this one. I think Providence a little bit overrated, in my opinion. So I'm going with South Dakota State here in the upset. What says you?
Yeah, I mean, the Friars are 0-4 their last 4 NCAA tournament games as a favorite. They haven't fared too well in that. They're 0-5 in their last 5 NCAA tournament games overall. I mean, San Diego State is a team a lot of people are jumping on at this point. They're called the Jackrabbits, so I didn't know that until I actually looked it up here, but they're 10-1 against the spread in their last 11 neutral site games. You look at that spread, Beer, and everybody's going to say, why is the 13th seed? This is something we talked about. If it's too good to be true, it's probably not going to work out for us. So people are going to be looking at Providence. Why is this team a 4 seed and they're only given 2 points? I think everybody's going to jump on Providence. This is just one of those spots here. Give me the Jackrabbits and give me these points here. But yeah, I'll take this one here. It just looks like it smells beer. So when it smells, it's for a reason.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like South Dakota State to get the win in this one. So leave the points for somebody else. But both these teams are very good against the spread, no doubt, this season. But I just think Providence is a little bit overrated here. So I think this is one of the best upset picks in the tournament. South Dakota State moving on for me. All right, let's get to the 6-11 here. Interesting matchup here with LSU and Iowa State. We know LSU head coach was fired the other day, so we'll see what that's going to do. Some that can be good sometimes, it can be bad sometimes. So we'll see if it affects this team. But very young team, Scott, and that's what you worry about here. Not a ton of experience with this LSU team. Now, Iowa State, on the other hand, very good defensive team, no doubt, can shoot the three. Isaiah Brockington, a great player there for Iowa State, the Penn State transfer. So thoughts on this one? This could be another one where the upset could be in play here with Iowa State upsetting LSU.
Yeah, I know that's another popular one. As you mentioned, 53% of the money is coming in on Iowa State. But Beer, this over-under has moved up 3.5 points. Start at 125. It's at 128. I think that's where I'd be looking at here in this game here. The over is 7-0 in Iowa State's last 7 tournament games as an underdog here. I do like that. LSU also is 4-0 in their last the over is 4-0 in the Tigers' last 4 games overall. And the over is 8-1 in the last 9 games following against the spread loss, which obviously they lost here in that tournament. But yeah, give me the over in this one here, Bear Man. I think there's going to be some points scored. So that's the way I'd be leaning in this one.
Next up, my Badgers, number 3, Wisconsin, taking on the 14th seed Colgate. The tournament committee gave them a favor as well. This game being played in Milwaukee, just a short jaunt down I-94 from Madison. So a pseudo home game here for the Badgers. But you look at this spread, Scott, and it's a lot lower than you would think it would be with a 3 going against a 14. Now, we know the Badgers, Johnny Davis, the story here, was incredible this season. Big Ten Player of the Year, a team that's good on both sides of the ball, top 50 in offense and defensive efficiency. Now, Colgate, a team that can get hot from outside. I mean, they're 40% from three-point distance. So can that three-point shooting carry them here? Wisconsin, a lot of trends in their favor here, a team good on both sides of the ball, and you got a star in Johnny Davis. Anytime there's that star player, they can carry you a long way on their shoulders in the tournament games and towards a Final Four run. Does Colgate have any shot here against my Badgers?
I don't think they have a shot to win the game, Beer, but it wouldn't surprise me if they kept it close and kept it within those 7 points. But the Badgers are 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 games as a favorite here. But I think that in this one here, I like the over. The over is 4-0 in the last 4 Wisconsin Tournament games here, Colgate also 4-1 in their last 5 overall as far as the over goes as well. So I think that there's going to be some points scored in this game here. If I had to take a team, I think I would just take those 7 points, Beer. But I do think Wisconsin should move on quite easily.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Badgers survive here, but I think they get tested by this Colgate team. 14-6 against the number in their last 20 overall. So a team that can certainly cover the spread here. Wisconsin's had their ups and downs. We've seen them look great. It's like a lot of Big Ten teams, Scott. They've looked phenomenal at times, like they can challenge for a Final Four. You turn the page and they're losing to Nebraska. So I think they could struggle a little bit with this team. If Colgate can get hot from the outside, maybe put them a little bit of a deficit in the first half, Wisconsin comes back, gets the win. But I like Colgate with you and the points. All right, 7-10 matchup here, USC and Miami. USC led by Isaiah Mobley. So we know that name sounds familiar, brother of Evan Mobley. And, a big team. They got a lot of size on this team. Now, Miami, winners of 18 of their last 24. So on a nice tear here. Can Miami pull the upset here, Scott? A lot of good guard play from this team. They don't rebound the ball well. So it's kind of one of those mismatches of size against a guard-laden team. Which one prevails here?
USC 0-8 in their last 8 games against the spread as a favorite here. I think Miami, they've been on fire. They've actually covered they're 7-2-1 in their last 10 against the spread, been playing pretty well. They lost to Duke here by 4, getting bounced out of their tournament there. But, give me Miami here in this spot here. I think that they've been playing a little bit better. And I think my gut feeling is Miami. I struggled with this one, Beer, a few times looking back and forth at my brackets. I think this is one I mixed up, but went with different ones and different brackets. But give me Miami.
I'm going USC. I think the size is going to prevail. Miami could certainly get hot from deep and cause them problems, but when you're outsized, you're not going to be able to rebound as well. It's going to lead to second chances for USC on the offensive glass. I think that's going to be too much here, so I'm going with the Trojans. All right, last game here. Number 2, Auburn. One of the best team, more consistent teams in the country. Obviously a shocker in that SEC tournament, losing to Texas A&M, but overall, they were very good this season, led by the big man, Jabari Smith, going to be definitely one of the top picks in this draft. But they don't have a lot of experience on this team, Scott, and that certainly a concern. Jacksonville State, another one of these teams, smaller school, a lot of great guard play, and a team that can hit the three-pointer as well. In fact, their top 3 guards all shot 38% or better from distance. So it's, again, the recipe to hang in the game. Now, it can be a disaster as well. If you're not hitting your threes, you're going to be going home early here. But I like Jacksonville State and the points in this one. Auburn moves on, but give me the points here with Jacksonville State. What do you got?
Yeah, I'll take the points too with Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State's been playing pretty well here. They're 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games overall. They're 9-2-1 against the spread in their last 12 neutral site games as an underdog. But Auburn has just been struggling here recently. They're 1-6 against the spread their last 7 games overall. So I think this is a spot here we're going to get a line inflated here a little bit more so than we should. So give me all those points here. But I do think Auburn, being one of the better teams in the country, they should prevail. But I see them win by about 10, and I'll take the 15.
There we go, breaking down the entire bracket game by game over our last 2 shows. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the analysis. Hopefully it helps you fill out those brackets. But Scott, we got to talk a little bit more tournament, favorite upsets, Final Four picks, any bets you're making on the tournament winner. I promised a 35-1 tournament winner, so I'm going to get you that here in a minute. But any other thoughts here on the bracket, on the tournament as a whole?
Yeah, you know what, Beer Man? I don't have too many huge upsets. We talked about, a few of them here earlier, that we like. But, I'm going to skip past the upsets. I think those are just, kind of easy to call, with the 8-9s and the 10-7s. I don't have any seed, 5 seed or less losing in my brackets. I just think it's going to be one of those times here where it's going to be pretty chalky. I think you're going to have to differentiate yourself in the grade 8 and the Final Four. But for me, Beer Man, some of my Final Four teams I really like Tennessee in this spot here. I do like Auburn as well. I think they're a pretty good team. I like Kentucky. Kentucky is my favorite team to win it all. That's the team I have winning more of my brackets. But Beer, I don't have Gonzaga in the finals in any of my brackets, if that tells you anything. I just think they're going to get beat in the Final Four by Kentucky. I think Texas Tech has a chance to get them as well. I think Texas Tech is a team that everybody better not sleep on. They're very good defensive measures. I really like them. I think Arizona is a team that's going to struggle to get by Tennessee. So, like I said, I really like Tennessee. But give me Kentucky. Kentucky's my pick to win it all. And if I had to pick a secondary team, I think that would be Tennessee. So I got two SEC teams winning it all, Beer.
All right, for me, a couple upsets. I talked about South Dakota State. I think they have a great shot at the upset against Providence. I like Loyola to upset Ohio State. Davidson against Michigan State, I think it's in a good spot as well. But my favorite upset pick, and a team I think can win multiple games here, is Virginia Tech, a team that I've put winning 2 games, beating Texas and then beating Purdue, ultimately losing to UCLA, who I have beating Baylor and advancing to the Final Four. So I also did not advance Gonzaga. I have them losing to a very talented UConn team. There's some potential NBA star power on that UConn team. So coming out of that bracket, I'm with you. I like Texas Tech. I put Texas Tech as a very experienced team moving on to the Final Four. They will take on UCLA for me in my Final Four. Other side, came down to Houston and Tennessee in that South region, Scott. I'm going with the experience of Houston. The free throw shooting a concern, but I think they make another deep run here. And then my only number 1 seed to make it here, I ended up with the 1 and 2 here. The only time I have that in my bracket with Kansas and Auburn. I just think they have a pretty easy road here. Kansas, Iowa, I think that could set up as a very good game in the Elite Eight, but I have Kansas moving on. My final ultimately comes down to UCLA and Houston, 2 teams that made a deep run last season, and I am going with the 35-1 UCLA Bruins to win this tournament. So there is your long shot bet. My bracket will be different from everybody else's, Scott. I'm with you. You got to play it a little differently. You got to Ricky Bobby this thing. You're the first or last. I'm going with UCLA to win the tournament.
Love it, Beer. We see it. It's March Madness for a reason. I do like UCLA. The defensive measures are there, so I don't mind them at all. So I definitely like that. So let's ride it and see what happens. We got to get one of us Woodward bets to win this bracket challenge.
Yes, WoodwardSportsBracket.com. Make sure that out and get involved in that contest. Got it here. What do we got for tonight?
Yeah, for tonight, best bets here, Beer Man. I got, you look at this game here tonight. I got the over in this opening matchup game here tonight with Rutgers. I think Rutgers, they're going to score all kinds of points here in this one. I also like Rutgers in that game. But as far as NBA goes here tonight, Beer Man, I got one here that I really like. I like the 76ers playing Cleveland tonight, giving them 2.5. I think 76ers is going to be a little bit too much for them to handle. So give me the 76ers. Too bad the Pistons aren't playing, but I also like the over in that Rutgers game.
All right, I'm going to go the college over in this right state game. Your kiss is fun to watch, so make sure checking him out. It's feeling like a track. This one will be a lot of fun. And I'm going to give you one from Washington. A disaster here over the last few weeks. It's just named team without Bradley Beal, Spencer Dinwiddie off to Dallas. They just don't have offense. Or Zingis working his way in, but not happening here. So give me the Denver Nuggets -6 as well. And that will do it for the show tonight. Scott, final thoughts here for the people. March Madness right around the corner. I can't wait, my friend.
Yeah, I can't wait either. Have good time there in Vegas, Beer Man. You'll have to check in with us for sure. Appreciate Kelly coming on. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And Beer Man, you're a little bit choppy there when you were giving out the over in that Wright State Bryant game. So just want to make sure everybody caught that one. But hey, looking forward to this tournament. A lot of fun. And hey, if you're one of them dumbasses who I heard, not to get gross on everybody here, but this is when more men get their junk cut than any other time to sit around. So hey, if you're one of them dudes, grab you some beer, sit around, get some jars cannabis, have some fun, and let's watch some tournament basketball all weekend. Should be a great time.
No better weekend to get that done. You get to sit around and watch some hoops. So absolutely great advice there. We'll give you all the advice here on Woodward Bets. Yeah, I had a little technical difficulty here. Not sure what's up with the connection. But yeah, that over in that game, Bryant game tonight, and the Denver Nuggets -6 if something cut off. So thank you so much for listening. Make sure you like it on YouTube. Make sure you hit woodwardsportsbracket.com to get involved in this tournament challenge as well. For Scott, for our boys behind the glass, I am Beer. We are Woodward Bets. Thank you so much for watching. Best of luck tonight and with your brackets, and we'll catch you tomorrow.